For 16 years, we've been building a site that's been called innovative, insightful, and informative. Now there's a new name for it. We're now NBCnews.com.
The sprawling Hilton Hotel in Rye Brook, New York, was host to 2,000 Amway conventioneers that summer weekend in 2009. One of the suites had become a homicide scene. Sergeant Terry Wilson from the local police would lead the investigation.
I couldn't believe what I saw. I went in the room and there was the victim hogtied on the floor, and it was a bloody mess.
What does that tell you?
This was a targeted individual.
And is it true that his eyes were also gouged out?
Yes. Yes.
Sergeant Wilson learned that the victim was Ben Novak Jr., a name that meant nothing to him. The murdered man's wife and stepdaughter had been escorted to a nearby hotel room so investigators could take their statements. The wife of 20 years, Narcy, told Sergeant Wilson that her husband had been up all night working on convention details and didn't go to bed, she thought, till about 6:30 in the morning. She said she'd then gone downstairs around 7 to oversee getting breakfast organized for the convention guests.
Could you verify, for instance, that the wife was indeed at the breakfast by a security camera?
We did have her on video, confirmed what she was saying.
The stepdaughter, May Abad, who managed the company money on these road trips, confirmed her mother's story of coming down to pitch in with breakfast.
I was thinking, you know, there is a lot of people. There's 2,000 people down here. I'll take any help I could get.
After the breakfast rush, Narcy says she called her husband up in the room. No answer.
And then she comes back up, what, about 7:30 or so and finds him?
Yeah.
She told the detective she tripped over the body, then bolted from the room shrieking for help. Security arrived, as did hotel manager Jeremy Morris.
Our security guard was holding Narcy at the end of Mr. Novak's feet, and Narcy was continuing to lunge towards the body, like howling and screaming at the top of her lungs.
When Narcy later told police about the timeline of the morning, the computerized room key card confirmed her recollection.
Her card was used to get into the room at 7:40, but from just after midnight...
Oh, there'd been no activity up to that point.
Opening to go into the door. So that right away tells you that, well, then the door opened from the inside.
If Narcy had been downstairs helping with breakfast, and no key other than the wife's had opened the door since midnight, who then had admitted the killer or killers? An early-on mystery. May, meanwhile, had been summoned by the hotel manager to her stepfather's suite.
So I asked him, like, you know, what happened? And they're just like, he's gone, you know? And I'm like, what do you mean he's gone? I'm like, just try, go do something.
The hotel guards wouldn't let her in the room.
One security officer was talking to another one. He said, it's a bloodbath in there.
A bloodbath that sent her mother into hysterics.
She's emotional, she's wailing, tears?
She's like throwing herself on the floor. Then she starts telling me, she goes, I think they're after all the, you know, convention money. She's like, it had to have been a robbery. They know we carry a lot of money. Somebody must have been watching us.
Unusually, Ben Novak's convention business ran on cash, bags of it. The exhibitors would turn over their dollars to the stepdaughter May and her assistants on site. This weekend, they'd taken in more than $100,000. Now, that money wasn't being kept in a hotel safe behind the front desk. Rather, it was stashed in closets under the beds of the staff members. Question, had an insider who knew how they'd gone about their business decided to rip off the company by torturing Ben to cough up the cash.
They had around $110,000 in cash.
So you're in motivation country right now, right?
And we're trying to figure out what's going on.
They didn't get anything from him. So, of course, I'm scared, you know, not just for myself, but for the staff.
And if someone had been roaming the hotel hallways with money and murder on their mind, there were 2,000 potential suspects. A detective's nightmare.
We decided we were going to download the logs of the entire hotel.
You're kidding. The comings and goings of every room, every guest in that hotel.
450 rooms. It took him 2 weeks to do it.
The hotel was bristling with security cameras, but unfortunately for the investigators, none in the hallway outside the murder room. One of the first things the cops did was round up all that cash and get it stored in the hotel safe till the banks opened in the morning. Then Sergeant Wilson posted a guard at the hotel room being shared by the mother and daughter. before that Sunday night was over, the two women would have another round of questioning with the detectives.
They totally grilled me, and you get mad. So of course I was fighting back.
They're asking you the question, did you do this?
Correct. You know, and then one of the cops even told me, we have to ask these questions. I'm like, well, do you have to get like right here and ask me the questions?
A veteran Westchester County detective named Allison Carpentier had joined the investigation and led some of the questioning.
May, the daughter, what'd you make of her?
Pretty much, I got the feeling that she was being honest with me. But you never know. I mean, people are deceptive.
The cops went through Narcy's story once again, hoping for some overlooked detail or investigative nugget.
And she is the grieving,
She's
all
the
of a sudden,
grieving
widow.
Widow, exactly. We need that information. She's the last person that saw Mr. Novak.
Narcy told detectives there was something of value missing. A gold bracelet that spelled out Ben's name in diamonds. An expensive Rolex watch was still on the bed lying in a pool of blood, as well as an unexplained broken stem from a cheap pair of sunglasses. And then there was the matter of her husband's huge Batman collection and a rare comic valued at $43,000 he was planning on selling that weekend.
Batman might have been a motivation for murder, his passion in life.
Mm-hmm.
He had a valuable comic and somebody else wanted it.
Correct.
Or wanted the value of it.
Correct.
Sunday was over. On Monday, the cops would hear about the Novaks' tie-me-up sex games. On Monday, when mother and daughter started to go for one another's throats.
Coming up, they should have been united in grief. Instead, there would be a feud sparked by a single troubling moment.
As I'm sitting there, my suspicions are growing and growing by the minute.
When Dateline continues.